Most English learners can hold a conversation just fine until someone says, "So, what happened?" and everything falls apart. Today, we are going to fix the one skill nobody ever teaches you, and once you have it, people will actually want to listen to you. Hey, 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 you are listening to Fluent English Podcast, the show where two real Americans just talk. No scripts, no textbooks, just actual conversations so your ears can get used to how English really sounds.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. And Alex, I have to say I am very excited about today's topic because I feel like it is something even I had to learn how to do properly.
Same. Honestly, same. And it sounds so simple on paper, right? Like, just tell a story. But there is an art to it. There really is.
There is a whole structure, there are phrases, there is a whole vibe.
A vibe. Yes, exactly. There is a storytelling vibe. And today, we are going to break it all down.
So if you are an English learner who has ever tried to tell a funny story in English and then just kind of watched the other person smile politely while you died a little inside,
Wow, relatable.
this episode is for you. Stick around because by the end, you are going to have actual phrases, actual structure, and actual confidence to tell a story that lands.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so Alex, something happened to you last week, right? Tell me.
Oh no. Okay, so I have to tell the story, and I will warn you, it does not make me look great.
Even better, go.
Okay, so I went to the grocery store, and I was going to buy milk, and so I picked up the milk, and then I also wanted to get eggs, I think, and then there was this. Okay, basically, so I ended up leaving without the milk, the thing I went there for.
That's it?
That's the story.
Alex, I have no idea what happened. I don't know why you forgot the milk. I don't know what distracted you. I don't feel anything.
And that right there is exactly the problem we are talking about today.
That was a perfect example of a story with no structure.
A perfectly bad story. You are welcome.
Okay, but here's the thing. That is genuinely how a lot of people tell stories in a second language, right? You have the information in your head, but getting it out in the right order with the right energy, that is the hard part.
It really is. And I will say I experienced this myself. When I try to tell a story in French, I just freeze. Like, I know what happened, I was there, but trying to build it in French in real time, my brain just goes nothing, blank, gone.
Yes, it is like you are using all your mental energy just to find the words, so you have nothing left over for the actual storytelling.
Exactly. And in Spanish, Emma, does that happen to you too?
Oh, constantly. Like, I will start a sentence and halfway through I realize I have already lost the thread of what I was saying. And the other person is just looking at me, waiting, and I am just internally panicking.
The polite waiting face. I know that face.
I know that face so well. So, okay, let's actually help people. Let's talk about why storytelling in English is specifically tricky, and then we will get into how to fix it.
So I think the number one reason storytelling is hard in English, or in any second language, honestly, is that native speakers follow this invisible structure. Like, we don't think about it, we just do it.
Right. It is like we grew up hearing stories told a certain way, in movies, in books, from our parents, at the dinner table, and so we absorbed the pattern without ever being taught it.
But if you are learning English, nobody sits you down and says, here's how you build a story. You learn vocabulary, you learn grammar, you learn tenses, but the narrative flow, nobody covers that.
And then you end up in a situation where you can have a whole conversation in English, past tense, present tense, no problem, but the moment someone says, "Oh, that is funny, what happened?" you just kind of short circuit.
Because it requires all of these things at once. You need the right tense, you need the right order, you need to build tension, you need a payoff.
And you need to sound natural while you do it, which is maybe the hardest part.
Yeah, okay, so let's break down the structure. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It is everywhere.
Okay, so a natural English story, the kind you would hear a native speaker tell at a party or at work or wherever, has basically 5 parts. And Alex, I'm going to let you start because I want to hear you tell that grocery store story again, but this time properly.
Oh, redemption arc. Let's go.
Yes, okay. Part 1, setting the scene. This is where you tell people when and where something happened. You're painting a picture before anything actually happens. So, Alex, set the scene.
Okay, so this was last Wednesday. I had just gotten off work. I was exhausted. It was raining, and I still had to stop at the grocery store on the way home.
Perfect. See, already we know when it was, we know the mood, we feel a little bad for him. The rain is a nice touch.
Thank you. I added the rain for drama.
Classic. Okay, part 2, the build-up. This is where you use phrases like, so there I was, or I'm just standing there, to bring the listener into the moment. It puts them right there with you.
Right. So I walk into the store, and I grab a basket, and I'm just kind of wandering around, already half asleep, you know?
I'm just standing there, or I'm just wandering around. That present tense in the middle of a past tense story, that is a really native thing to do. We switch to present tense to make it feel more immediate, more alive.
Yeah, it pulls people in. You can hear native speakers do that all the time, and it sounds natural. It does not sound wrong.
Totally. Okay, part 3. The turning point. Something has to happen. Something unexpected, something funny, something weird. And there are great phrases for this. And then, out of nowhere, or that's when it all went wrong, or and that is when things got interesting.
Okay, so I am wandering around the store, right? And I run into my old college roommate, who I have not seen in like 3 years. And we just start talking, catching up, and I completely forget what I came in for.
Oh, okay. Now I understand the story.
Right? It makes sense now.
Context. Context changes everything. Okay, part 4, the payoff or the punchline. This is where the story lands. And one of the most useful phrases in English is long story short, because it signals to the listener, okay, we are wrapping up. Here comes the point.
Long story short, I talked to my roommate for 45 minutes, bought a bag of chips I did not need, and went home with absolutely zero milk.
And the chips make it so much funnier.
The chips are the detail that makes the story.
Okay, and part 5, the reaction. After the payoff, native speakers usually add a little reaction line, something that shows how they feel about it now looking back, like, I still cannot believe it, or to this day, I have no idea what I was thinking, or, and that is when I realized.
And to this day, I still have no milk in my fridge.
Perfect. That is a perfect story. See, same story, completely different experience. You went from, I went to the store and forgot the milk, to this whole thing with the rain and the roommate and the chips.
Details, structure, and phrases. That is genuinely all it takes.
Okay, so let's talk about tense for a minute, because this is where a lot of learners get tangled up. And we are not going to make this a grammar lesson, I promise.
Please do not.
I know. But here's the thing. When you are telling a story, you are going to use mostly simple past tense. That is your main engine. I walked in. I saw her. I said hello. She laughed. Simple past. One thing after another. That is the backbone of any story.
And the trick is to keep it moving, one simple past verb after another. I got on the train. I sat down. I pulled out my phone, and I realized it has a rhythm to it.
Yes, it does have a rhythm. Okay, but then you have past continuous, which is your background tense. It sets the scene. I was walking down the street when she was sitting at the cafe, and that was plus verb with ing tells you something was already happening when the main event occurred.
It's like the background music of the story.
Oh, I love that. Yes, the background music. And then past perfect, which is had plus verb. And this is for things that happened before the story even started. So if I said, I had completely forgotten that we made plans, that means before this moment in the story, that forgetting already happened.
Okay, I'm going to try a sentence, and you tell me if the tense is right. I had just left the building when I was realizing I forgot my keys.
Almost. I had just left the building is perfect, but I was realizing? That doesn't quite work. Realize is one of those verbs that we do not usually use in continuous form. You would just say, when I realized.
When I realized. Got it. See? Even I mess that up sometimes.
And honestly, that is such a good point because native speakers mess things up too. We self-correct, we restart sentences, we say, wait, no, and try again. That's just how real speech works.
So if you're a learner and you use the wrong tense and then catch yourself, that's not failure. That's just speaking.
Completely. Do not freeze up because of tense. Keep going, correct if you can, move on.
Okay, this is my favorite part. We're calling this Steal These Lines because that is genuinely what we want you to do. These are the phrases native English speakers use to tell stories, and if you memorize these and start using them, your storytelling is going to jump up a level overnight.
Okay, so I am going to say the phrase, Alex is going to use it in a sentence, and we will quickly explain when to use it. Ready?
Ready, let's go.
First one, so there I was.
So there I was, standing in the middle of the airport with no ticket and no phone battery. This one is great for pulling people into a dramatic moment. It says, picture me, right here in this exact situation.
It is a very cinematic opener. Next, you are not going to believe this, but...
You are not going to believe this, but my cat actually figured out how to open the door. This one signals to your listeners something surprising is coming. Pay attention. It builds anticipation.
Love it. Okay, I kid you not.
I kid you not. It was the biggest pizza I have ever seen in my life. This one means I am being completely serious. I am not exaggerating. It adds credibility to something that sounds unbelievable.
Use that one when your story sounds too crazy to be true. Next, at this point, I'm thinking...
At this point, I'm thinking there is absolutely no way this is happening. This is great for sharing your internal reaction during the story. It brings the listener into your head.
It makes the story feel personal. The listener stops just watching the events and starts experiencing them with you. Okay, out of nowhere.
And then, out of nowhere, this dog just runs through the whole restaurant. Perfect for the turning point. Something unexpected that changes the direction of the story.
Chaotic energy. I love it. Next, long story short.
Long story short, we missed the flight, we lost the luggage, but somehow we still had the best trip of our lives. This tells the listener, I'm about to skip ahead and give you the conclusion. It's respectful of your time and it keeps the story tight.
So useful. Use it whenever you realize you've been talking for a while. Just say, long story short, and land the plane.
Land the plane, I like that.
Okay, next. And then it hit me.
And then it hit me. I had been saying his name wrong for 2 entire years. This is for the realization moment. The moment your character, you, figures something out. It's a great punchline setup.
Very satisfying phrase. Okay, 2 more. To make a long story short.
Very similar to long story short. You can use them interchangeably. To make a long story short, she ended up being my boss 6 months later. It wraps things up cleanly.
And the last one, I will never forget the look on their face.
I will never forget the look on her face when I walked in wearing that costume. This is great for ending a story on a visual image. It leaves something in the listener's mind.
It is almost like the camera zooming in on someone's expression in a movie. Very effective.
These phrases are doing a lot of work. They manage the listener's expectations, they control the pacing, and they make you sound incredibly natural.
And the beautiful thing is, once you start noticing them, you will hear them everywhere, in movies and TV shows and real conversations. Your brain will start picking them up automatically.
Okay, Emma. I told my story. Your turn. Tell me something that actually happened to you, but this time, use the structure and at least 3 of the phrases we just talked about.
Oh, okay, I can do this. All right, so this was about 2 years ago. I was living in Austin, and I had just started learning Spanish.
Ooh, origin story.
Yes. Okay, so there I was at this little cafe near my apartment trying to practice my Spanish with the barista, which, by the way, I had been studying for only maybe 2 months at this point, so my Spanish was, to put it kindly, not great.
Charitable.
Very charitable. So I walk up and I am trying to order, and I think I said, estoy embarazada, which I thought meant I am embarrassed, like apologizing for my bad Spanish.
Oh no. Oh no, Emma.
And then it hit me later when I looked it up that embarazada does not mean embarrassed, it means pregnant.
You told the barista you were pregnant.
I told the barista I was pregnant. I kid you not, she looked at me with this huge smile and said, "Congratulations!" And I just said, "Gracias," and took my coffee and sat down. And I did not figure out what happened until I got home.
I will never forget the look on that barista's face. Probably.
Probably. I did not even see it because I was already walking away in shame. Long story short, I downloaded a better Spanish app the next day, and I never made that mistake again.
That is a perfect story. Seriously, you had the scene, the build-up, the turning point, the payoff, the reaction, and you used the phrases naturally. They did not sound forced at all.
And I was nervous. I was actually a little nervous just now doing it in real time.
But it flowed because you knew the structure. You had a framework to hang the words on.
That is exactly it. The structure gives you confidence because you always know where you are in the story.
Okay, before we wrap up, we have a challenge for you. And we do this every episode because we genuinely believe that listening is only half of it. You have to use what you learn.
So here's your challenge for this week. Think of one story, any story, something funny that happened to you, something embarrassing, something surprising. It does not have to be dramatic. It just has to be yours.
And tell it out loud in English to yourself, to a friend, to your mirror. I don't care, but actually say it out loud because there is a huge difference between understanding something and being able to produce it.
And use at least 3 of today's phrases. So there I was, long story short, you are not going to believe this. Any 3. Work them in naturally and see how it feels.
It is going to feel a little awkward the first time. That is completely normal. The second time, it will feel less awkward. The 10th time, it will feel like yours.
That is how language works. You borrow it until it belongs to you.
That might be the most poetic thing you have ever said on this podcast.
I have my moments.
All right, that is going to do it for today's episode of Fluent English Podcast. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Genuinely, it means a lot. And hey, if this episode helped you, share it with one friend who's also learning English. Word of mouth is everything for a show like ours.
And next episode, we are getting into something really good, how to disagree politely in English. Because there's a huge difference between "you're wrong" and "I see it a little differently." And knowing that difference can change everything.
Such a good one. So many things can go sideways when you don't have the right words for disagreeing. We're going to cover all of it.
And hey, if you want to put today's tips straight into practice, go check out our episode called Listen and Repeat, 50 English Sentences for Daily Life.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Real, everyday sentences you can listen to, repeat out loud, and start using right away.
Perfect follow-up to everything we talked about today. This video is on the left side.
Trust us, your English will thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.